37-21, that's the final score. And finally, after 12 attempts, England finally managed to get one over South Africa, something they haven't achieved since back in 2006. It wasn't as bad a start as it was a finish. The Boks certainly looked the part for most of that first half, Ashwin. We saw the guys looking pretty decent in defence. Patrick's dropped goal, and I think we all thought, okay, we're certainly in with a chance here if we can play them like this. The lineouts were sound. Yeah, we even launched a pretty decent rolling maul. But then in the latter part of the first half, it seemed to untangle.
I think if you look at the English performance, it was a superior performance. And I think England can be very proud of the way that they played against the Boks, South Africa. When we talk about attack, you know, it looks like no structured attack. You find that 9 to a forward running the ball, so there was no cohesive attacking structure, platform. It looked like the plans wasn't all in place, not quite sure what they tried to achieve on attack. So from an attacking perspective, I think we totally, if you look against England, England was just streets ahead of the Boks. And for England, every time when they got the ball, they were able to create something, whether they wanted to sift the ball wide into the spaces. On attack, they had bodies in motion all the time, so they had different options on attack. Their kicking game was also superior. So I think, you know, we were competitive in the scrums. I think that's probably the area in the game when it comes down to scrumming where we were able to beat England. That's the only part of the game. We never had an attacking, a defensive lineout. Rather, we had all the numbers in the lineout because there's a number of jumpers in the lineout. Yet we never had any defensive lineout. Didn't contest on the lineouts. Our territorial game, we were ineffective in terms of that. So it was a completely dominating performance by England at the end of the day. And I think the score is a true reflection of how superior England was in their performance against us.
You touched on quite a lot of things there, Bush. Let's break it down a bit, and I'll ask the rest of the guys to jump in. Attack, and you mentioned off air while we were watching that South Africa seems to really be battling with attacking shape. We almost seem to not know what to do ball in hand. I would expect that these guys practice attack pretty much in every session they have, every 2-hour session they have on the field. But what is the difference? Is it maybe because it's not against live opposition? Where could we be going wrong?
Yeah, it's always hard to put your finger on it, but for me, I think it's quite hard to see what our shape actually is. You know, a lot of the time you watch a team play and you know exactly what their shape is. It either goes to the guy in the middle. If there's a pot of 3, goes to the guy in the middle. He can either tip or give it out the back. We're getting those 3 guys in place and in position, but sometimes it goes to the first guy, sometimes to the second, and then it's pretty hard as a cleaner. Normally you know where the ball's going and you know what's happening, and to me it's quite hard to see what our shape is. We zigzag quite a bit as a defending team. You make a tackle, you stand up, you don't have to fold, you're just in the right position to make the next tackle. You know it's going to go one phase to the other side, then going to come back to you. So it's pretty easy to defend against that. And yeah, I just think that the guys don't really have an option. You know, the only one guy there. Before the guy gets the ball, the guy's already latched onto him. So the defenders know there's no way this guy's going to pass. I'm going to tackle him. So yeah, I think a lot of work to be done on our attack as well as our defence. I thought 3 tries for them were pretty soft. I thought that first one that really took the wind out of our sails in the first half, maybe with a few minutes to go before half-time, after not taking the up and under, I thought that really took a lot of wind out of our sails. Yeah. And then the 2 tries that they scored where Ben Youngs exploited our pillar defenders, I thought those were really soft. And I mean, that's 3 tries, 21 points. It's a different game if we had not let them get those 3 tries.
Well, I got a question on Twitter which involves exactly that, Nick. I'll put it to you. At Mac Tugi asks, can someone please tell me who we've sold our pillar defence to? You also alluded to it in the second half. But let's maybe go back. Basics of pillar defence. Who is responsible for what? Because we seem to have been completely beaten in that facet of the game.
Well, the first defender's got to be a metre from the ruck and not in the ruck, and he controls the pick and go, and he controls anyone switching or coming back inside, the pass back inside from 10, or the 9 running across the field and switching for a guy inside. Number 2's role is to take the inside tackle from the first receiver or control the number 9. And that's the key. Control the number 9. Twice Youngs runs across the field, and the second defender, who's Peter Steph-Toy, does not control him. Once he goes for the interception, the second, he doesn't know really who to go for. 2 dummies, 2 tries. So it's a lack of understanding of his role and what he's got to do. The third player, now those 2 guys should be a meter and a half apart, because it all happens in quite a close space and you've got to really help each other there. The third defender has got to take the first receiver after the fly half. So unless you work that really hard and keep practicing it and keep practicing, so the players understand what my role is. Number 1, I watch the pick and go. I watch the scrum half break narrow. The 9 runs across the field. 2 hits him if he can. Or he takes, if the guy passes and passes back inside, second defender takes that guy. If the 9 passes, that person is the third defender's man. And from those 3 players, everyone else can set off them, knowing what their roles are. And the pace of the defence is organised by the third defender.
And also, you've played loose forward. Sorry, Butchie. And wouldn't it have made more sense at international level, knowing, yes, there are injuries and Rulo Smith had to come back home, to just go with the flank, to just go with somebody who's more fair with defending?
Yeah, I've written down a lot of things, 5 issues here. We had no real loose forwards today, understanding the role of loose forward play. So they got very quick ball, and we got slow ball. So our ability to get quick ball, I thought that Rudy Page was quite slow in his clearing of the ball, whereas I saw their scrum off a lot faster than, and so the ball availability for Youngs was far quicker than for us, which allows him then to take decisions on the front foot. A defensive lack of understanding in roles 1, 2, and 3, and that involves often a prop lock and a loose forward. And then aerial errors by JP and Willie Leroux, as you did mention, very costly for us. And finally, just making stupid, unforced errors, kicking the ball out on the full, Lambie from a kickoff, Willie Leroux having a penalty and kicking the ball dead. You know, if you add all these things up, those are the reasons why we concede 100%. 35 points. You know, it requires a lot of hard work and a lot of coaching understanding, and it requires a lot of understanding from the players. But we can improve it.
And I think also, just to carry on from your defence here, your pillars 1, 2, and 3, for me, that pillar defence all relies on communication. And I think if you get into position there, you put up your hand, you say, I'm 1. Then you say, I'm 2. Then as soon as you say, I'm 2, you realise, oh, yes, my job is scrum off. Then you know the scrum off. But for our guys, we're getting there a bit slow. No one's telling, oh, but I thought you were 1. I thought you were 2, you know. So that's where the gaps come, because no one knows who's actually got the scrum off. You get there early, you put your hand up, I'm 1, 2, Nance's 3. Then you set, you're ready to go. But for me, it just looked, and especially when you're defending a lot, you're tired, you get there, you don't communicate, you just stand there. The other guy next to you doesn't know who's 1, who's 2, and that's where the holes come.
Yeah, but boys, we have to ask the question, why did we allow ourselves to get into this situation? Of course, a year ago we had a defensive structure. Suddenly, 10 internationals later, we've got no plan. We've got no plan. Just listening to everybody.
3 different defensive coaches in 6 months.
Yeah, but I'm just listening to everybody. And the question we have to raise is, why are we in this situation? We've got a coaching staff. Doesn't matter who they are. They should know all these things. Now, we're sitting here and we can see it. We've seen how many times today, 1 try after the next, There's nobody in a space of 5 meters on 4 defenders. We've got 1 defender and the other one is standing in the ruck. So it's basic stuff. So why are we here? And then we've got to rather ask those questions as to try and explain it, because everybody can see what the hell is going on here.
Yeah, well, one of the big things that he's constantly spoken about is rebuilding the team with an eye on the future. But it's not the case on this specific tour. Adrian Strauss is in his 3rd last match as Springbok captain. He's going to be leaving the box at the end of the season. So again, we'll start the year with the need to rebuild. He'll be quite disappointed, as this will have been his last opportunity to claim a famous victory against the old foe.
Miles, thank you very much indeed. Adrian, commiserations. The scoreboard, a fair reflection of the game, did you feel?
Yeah, very tough game, you know. Credit to England. I think tactically they were very good. We knew that we were going to face a high ball. They did it excellent, and they were very excellent in doing that. And we couldn't deal with that, you know. We couldn't turn that into attack for us. I think we started off well, just couldn't do that for 80 minutes.
What do you feel you could have done better as a team out there today, Adrian?
You know, first of all, we need to get in the right areas and then hang on to the ball. You know, it sounds like an old cliche, but it's about pressure, especially at test match level, and we just couldn't get that pressure on the England team, you know, and we felt that pressure throughout the whole game, especially after the first couple of minutes, you know, the first 20 or 30, we felt under pressure the whole time.
Is the pressure of losing starting to get to the team, do you think?
Sorry?
Is the pressure of losing starting to get to the team, do you think?
No, we're taking it game by game, and we knew this was going to be a tough game. Very disappointed about the loss. We'll have a hard look at ourselves on Monday, and we'll definitely fight back. We've still got 2 tough games left, so we'll be back.
Commiserations, and thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Dylan, congratulations. First one over South Africa in what, 10 years? Has it been worth the wait?
Certainly. I think plenty to work on though, so that keeps us grounded. 6 penalties in the opening 20 minutes is not good enough, so we'll take this today, but there's plenty to work on for next week.
Well, you've got that many wrinkles though, Dylan, and you still beat the Sanzar Nation with effectively a try bonus point. And what does that say about where the team is?
Look, there's plenty to work on, like I said, discipline being a key area. But it's the start of our series, and we're very happy to get that monkey off our back. Obviously, 10 years. So very, very proud of the guys today. We've obviously got some new caps as well. And I think the finishers came off the bench and added a lot to the game today.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
He'll be quite happy, will Dylan Hartley. A lot of people having a lot to say on Twitter. I'll try and ask as many questions as I possibly can. Thanks very much, Patiswa, who says, Boks are in need of umcimbi. Noba kungaxhelwa ibhoke ebenye since when Sikiwa England. Translation, maybe we need help from the ancestors, to put it quickly. We do. We spoke about the pillar defence. We've got those tries, and maybe let's take a quick look, Nas, at where Peter Steff was supposed to be, where he is. Ashwin, you've got that there on the touch screen. And again, I'd argue that it's probably a little easier for somebody who's constantly playing in the position to defend this.
Yeah.
First mistake here, if you look, the ball is still in the ruck and there is absolutely no one there, the space. That is where the players should be to start off from. And the inability to move, to communicate, to understand. So there you could see for Peter Steff du Toit, there's 4 players literally there that he's now have to watch. And it's all because the shape right from the beginning was not properly structured.
Ashwin, just take it back. Just take it back there, please.
Let's do that.
Nick's going to... Nick, just look at Adrian Strauss. He's in a position he can't win the ball. Okay, he can't. Okay. If you go back.
There we go.
Okay, just stop it there. Okay. Stop it there.
Yeah. So the key here is that you've got to get Strauss a bit wider, and Steff du Toit's got to go in a little bit closer. But also, we've got to look, they've got lots of threats. They've got threats, 2 forwards. They've got 2 forwards wider. They've got a 10 deep. So Peter Steff du Toit is obviously worried about the guys wide. But his first role is to say who's number 1, who's number 2, and the third guy should be where Peter Steff du Toit is, as you mentioned.
And that's where the communication comes in.
Exactly.
Adrian, he puts up his hand, he says 1, he calls Peter Steff, he says, come closer, you 2, and then that's when he comes in. There's no communication.
Much too wide.
Communication, I just want to add something there, Ashwin. Where's the number 9? We've seen in the past, how many times we have a number 9 seeing the gaps, and then the number 9 will tell Nick, Nick, move 100%. Out, Butch, move this way, that way. That we haven't seen in a long time.
Just on this side, if you look on the blind side, also no shape there, no structure, no one in place at that side. So we're also vulnerable on the other side. So you can see the defence right behind next to the ruck is absolutely nowhere to be seen there.
Well, play the clip. Play the clip.
It's playing there. So this is the shape that we should have been in.
Yeah, should have been
right from the beginning. Then we would have been able to defend on that.
But I mentioned there are few just technical things. You've got to be 1.5 meters, 1.5 meters, and 3. You can't be 5 meters from the first defender. That's just giving a massive boulevard for that guy to run through.
That's
Have
the
a
one.
look here.
Yes, the
now,
next
exactly the same. Peter Steff doesn't know what his road is. He doesn't know, so he thought he had to go on the pass, and he hesitates. Dummy. Beats him on the inside. If he knew what his role was, he'd kill Youngs there. He'd smash him. And then Youngs, if he passes to the next guy, it's the third defender who takes the bloke. And if you don't understand that, you've got no defensive system.
And what makes it even more difficult is the pace with which England was attacking, because you can find the quick ruck ball, and then all of a sudden it's difficult for the players to get back into position. But it's about communication and also understanding and having confidence in the defensive structure.
But why did they get quick ball, Ash?
Why did they get quick ball?
Yeah.
Well, because they got over the advantage line, quick recycling
Because
of the
we
ball.
didn't have an open
Number 9
side.
is right there.
We also didn't have an open side flanker who was able to slow their ball down.
No,
we had
fair enough.
4 locks on the field, and with that, as we said at the beginning of this game, if they get quick ball, the more they get quick ball, the more we're going to be in trouble.
You said something very interesting, Ashwin, talking about confidence, and we had a chat off camera about confidence and the difference between a team that's playing confidently and a team that's not. Because I keep talking about the fact that we were very much in the game in the first half, but yes, there was that late couple of points that they amassed. But a confident team would have taken better opportunities of the things that we did do right. We were good in the scrums. We had a pretty decent, solid start. But then it just seems to completely go amiss.
Now, you could see that we're not a confident team because even as an individual, if you are confident and you make a mistake, you bounce back from it pretty quickly. And you saw a couple of our players make 1 or 2 mistakes and then we didn't see them for the rest of the game. So for me, we're really lacking confidence, and also in our defence. A confident team communicates a lot and talks a lot, and also they want to be involved and make tackles. We see a lot of the guys hiding on the blind side, maybe staying in the ruck a bit longer, that you're safe in the ruck, you're not going to make a mistake and make the wrong decision in the pillar there. So it's quite easy in the ruck. But a confident team, they get out, they're prepared to make the mistake and prepared to make an effort for the team.
How do you affect that as a coach, Nick? We've been losing, we've not had a great season. You're on tour, you're under the cosh, there's a lot of media attention. Yeah. How do you change that sense?
I mean, first of all, I just want to go back to what you said. We felt we were in the game at half-time. It wasn't so far. If we hadn't had that long-range try. You know, when we were against the All Blacks, we were up, we were in the game at half-time in 2 test matches. Didn't stop us losing by 40 points and 50 points. In this one, if they'd taken the penalty at the end of the game and he didn't miss many kicks, it would have been 40 points. So it's no good being in the game for 40 minutes. You've got to have a game, a defensive game, an attacking shape, a kicking attacking shape, a kicking defensive shape, and you've got to have guys who work their butts off for each other for 80 minutes. Because sometimes the All Blacks score in the 82nd minute, so perhaps you need to carry on for 82 minutes, you know. It's no good to say at half-time we were in the game. That's hopeless.
But by saying that, if you go back to the New Zealand game, straight after the game, they were quite vocal about we were good in scrums and good in lineouts, but we lost by 40 points. Yeah. You know, that's the way we need to look at 80 minutes. We can't just say now we had good scrums, good lineouts, but there's no other structure to anything.
You know, in previous games you talked about the defence or the lack of defence from the box or the defensive structural errors from the box. And, you know, we're asking, and I think, Nash, you were asking the question, where's the attack? And so today was a classic example. If you look at Pat Lambert, number 10, you know, how deep he was, not taking control and asking for the ball and playing with the ball, taking on the outside channel. So, you know, I almost want to say that I think we have taken a regress from not just our defensive structures, which we talked about previously. We had long debates and discussions about our defensive structures. But now today, on our attack, a similar situation. It never looked like there was an understanding of the players knowing how to play off number 10. And so for me, the question is also, if you look at the partnerships, year 9 and 10, you know, to be able to have a cohesive attacking team, you have to also build that continuity with your number 9 and 10. Nas, you've played there. Butch, you've played there. Nick, you've coached there. How many times we chopped and changed between our 9-10 combination? So for me, hey, this fly on live TV. You're not part of the debate. Come here. Please leave.
Where's your defence? Check your defenders.
I was trying, you know. But even he agrees with the fact that, you know, we have to make sure that the thing with attack is, you know, in order to have a wonderful attacking, you look at Ben Young's, George Ford, 9-10, they can attack. With us, here we have Pat Lambie, we have Rudy Page. Today, Rudy Page's service, slow. We got there.
Very slow.
Let's go back a few weeks ago. We talked about how quick his service delivery was. From number 9, getting there, passing the ball from the back. What changed? That's the question. What changed?
Quality of the ball.
That quality of the ball, but also, is it not because Lambie was 10 metres deep or 5 metres deep as opposed to being...
I'll tell you what happens. It all comes from momentum from the forwards. If you get that momentum going forward, Rudy's able to get that ball cleared quickly. Pat's able to take it nice and flat and in their faces
But
with them going backwards. But if we're not going forward, we stopped. As soon as the ball's slower, the slower the ball, the more further back you'll find a fly-off going. So you got to feel for Pat today. I think we didn't get that momentum like England got with Billy Vunipola over the advantage line every time. Then it's easy for guys like Ford to play. You can play it nice and flat. We saw near the end when we went down the flank there with a good play with Billy taking it flat. But that was because we had nice quick ball and we had some momentum.
Some standout play from some of the England players. I see you got a Billy Vunipola I suppose package there. He's not the only one. Joe Launchbury also, I thought, had a wonderful game.
I just think this guy had an extraordinary game against very big South African forwards. I mean, they're big fellows who tackle hard. Lotte Jager, Peter Steph Toy, and he got forward momentum almost every single time he's got the ball. He's also got soft hands. He took up and under as well. I thought he was an outstanding game today.
Young's also had a good game today, but because of Billy, Billy was getting that go forward, and that when you do trying to defend him, that's why he got those holes.
Sorry, but look how flat he took the pass off Young's, and watch how many bodies are in motion when the scrum half's got the ball. They've all got guys running, so they're guys running off, left and right off the 9 as he's picking the ball up, and that creates doubt in the defence.
Can I just go back on this one, please? Because I just want to try and go right back here and see if because we talk about him and his ability to get the go forward, but it's not a case of he's getting 10, 15 meters. We're talking about literally a meter, 2 meters.
That's all you need.
So here we go. Now I just want to pause it right here, and then we look. There's the ball. You can see that's where the fly is going forward. But then if you look right there, there's an attack, the ball 1 meter forward. The intent is let's attack. Let's try and make sure that we attack the spaces so that the defense have to reorganize. And I think that's the difference between, if you look at what happened today with England versus the Springboks. Because here's Vunipola. We'll go back to where he actually gets the ball in order to see. There's the ball. Vunipola going. Literally a meter behind. Look at the intent, straight. Slow ball, it's not quick ball. Going forward. So when we talk about the service or the ball is slow, England take slow ball and they turn it into quick ball because of the intent to want to go forward and attack. That is what we missed today. How many times have we seen today where Rudy Pace was getting to the ruck, the ball is there, but waiting before he passes the ball? And there's the intent, the difference with the intent. And that is what Vunipola was able to bring to this team. You don't need your big loose force to run 10 meters down the field. We saw it twice where both our prop forwards were able to get 15 meters through a gap, running 50 meters. And what's the end result? We lose the ball.
Very quickly, Butch, there's a question here that's come in from @BrokenPhone. Goosen at fly half. It's not a question, it's a statement. Goosen at fly half, please. I'm going to throw that to you. Nick, next week, Italy, opportunity for some brave selections from the Springbok management team. Is it going to happen or not? Are we going to go for an open side flank? Goosen versus...
Yeah, I think he obviously came on when the game was pretty open. Last 20 minutes against a defence that was a bit tired, so he probably looked half decent there at fly-half, and we were getting a bit of momentum there in the second half. So it's hard to say, I mean, he has started a few games, hasn't played too well, so it's a bit of a dilemma. I feel sorry for Pat. I think it's hard if we're having a go at Pat.
I'm leaning in because Nas is busy shaking his head.
No, see, the problem is, and that's why I say, if you're interested in me as a player, come and watch what I'm actually doing. You hardly play fly-off. That's the problem.
Most of the time.
And we just spoke about a number 6 loose forward. Play a guy that's used to playing in that position.
Well, let's talk selections. Next week, Italy, Nick.
Well, to be honest, I think it's an opportunity to have a look at what the Lions backline can do against a weak international team. Why don't we start with Faf, Yankees, Janse van Rensburg, Mapu, Elengo, Combrink, maybe at fullback Combrink, and play... we'll find another winger. We've got enough wingers. Elengo on one, Sergio perhaps against Italy. And a decent pack of forwards. We're good in the scrums, we'll be good in the lineouts. And Let's see if that backline can get us
pull in a number 6.
The forward momentum that we require.
But Nick, we should be able to go forward against Italy, so you can play a backline like that.
But you can play a backline like Ford is not a big guy, Nas.
No.
Ford is taking the ball on the run as soon as he has an opportunity. It's the mindset that England has. As Vunipola got that ball going forward, already they weren't thinking of kicking, they were thinking of attacking. Yeah. And it's just a change of mindset of the team.
You know, my concern is, Kola, if you go back to the first game we played against Ireland, Ireland kicked on us and Lwazi Mvovo was struggling under the high ball. We took him out of the team.
Yes.
We talk about now how we need an attacking mindset, the intent. Alton Yankees have the whole year, from the Lions straight into the Bok team, being able to get flat on the attacking line. We's dropped today. So my question is, I would like for the coach, or my concern rather, for the coach to be able to say, this is my number 9, this is my number 10. I'm going to play with them if I win or if I lose. Here we have a centre combination, Francois Venter, Damian Dalinde. Damian Dalinde and Lionel Mapu, they've started off in the beginning of the year. Why don't we just select a centre combination, we select our loose forward trio, and a halfback combination, very importantly, and we stick with them regardless of the outcome or the result. Because if we change and we change around, today it's 9 Rudy Page, then Pat Lambie. Next week it is Faf de Klerk, Pat Lambie. We are not allowing ourselves to build the much-needed continuity in the respective partnerships.
So Ashwin is saying continuity versus wholesale changes. What say you? That hashtag SS Rugby will be running right until the next week's kickoff against the Azuris. The Springboks are certainly going to have a lot of work to do. They will be smarting, having been demolished by the All Blacks a little while ago. 2 more matches still to come. And as I mentioned, 19 test matches taking place this weekend for the Boks. Fortunately, just 2 more left, and that's going to be in Florence next week. And we'll wrap it up at the Millennium Stadium against Wales, a Welsh team that also is reeling at the moment under a little bit of pressure. So an opportunity there if the Boks can get it right in the next couple of weeks. Thank you very much to Butch, to Nick, to Nas, and to Ashwin Willems. So hard luck to the Springboks, but it was quite heartening to see the level of support that the Springboks still enjoy, despite it having been a really tough tour. Well done to England, turning around a pretty long losing streak against the Springboks. Their first win over South Africa since 2006. Let's hope it's going to be their last for some time to come. Thank you very much at home for joining us. Final score from Twickenham, 37-21. And unfortunately, the Springboks off to a loss in the first test match of their Castle Lager outbound series. Thanks for joining us. Good night.
Let battle commence.